Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to YouTube. So if you are one of those people that doesn't like watching fundamental analysis, or you don't listen to fundamental analysis, in your best interest as a trader, you better watch this video to the end. I don't normally talk like this, but if you are a trader and you don't want to be taken by a very, very serious surprise in the market, you better watch this video all the way to the end. Now, there is something that is about to happen right now in the US, and that is what is called the Maralago Accord. The Maralago Accord. Now, if you don't know, Maralago is one of the resorts or hotels owned by Donald Trump. I think it's somewhere in Florida also. It's a big resort. So in the 1980s, there was something that was called the Plaza Hotel Accord, where they came together and signed an agreement to deliberately weaken the dollar in order to support exports. Now, something that you have to understand with respect to currency is that a very weak currency is absolutely good for you as a nation if you are exporting. So, for instance, the way the Naira has been devalued, it is very, very good for us that the Naira is devalued if we are an export nation. So if we're a nation that consistently produces so much and we sell a lot of our goods outside the country, it is fantastic for us. That will mean it gives us the opportunity to earn a lot of foreign income. We change it to local currency. You have a lot of money. You produce, you sell abroad. So that's why as the Naira continues to weaken, the people that enjoy it the most are those who earn in dollars. So the same thing is happening. But if you are an export economy, if you are an import economy, what you need is a strong currency so that it is cheaper for you to buy goods from outside as opposed to producing within. So what Donald Trump is trying to achieve is that he's trying to reindustrialize America in such a way that the goods and most of the manufacturing jobs and the goods and services will be produced once again in America, compared to what has happened in recent times that is now being produced in China. So the Mar-a-Lago Accord is a draft by Donald Trump's team. So they met in a place called Maralago, which is Donald Trump's resort. They met there, and what they want to do is that they want to deliberately weaken the dollar so that the pound, the Australian dollar, the New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar, Swiss franc, Japanese yen, Chinese yuan, probably the Naira, all of them will rise against the dollar so that the dollar can be very, very weak, and that will make the manufacture, that will make imports more difficult. It will make imports too expensive, and then of course force the United States to begin to manufacture. So because the moment you deliberately weaken your currency, what that does is that it is going to make imports more expensive for you, and of course it is best for you to make it at home compared to buying it outside. So that Plaza Accord, signed in 1985, if I'm just going to read a bit from this place here, it says the phrase is a spin-off of the 1985 Plaza Accord, where France, Japan, West Germany, and the UK agreed with the US to jointly weaken the dollar, replacing the Plaza Hotel in New York with the Trump, which was owned by, the Plaza Hotel was owned by Trump at the time, with Trump's Mar-a-Lago Club in Palm Beach, Florida. Okay, I got that correct. As a venue for the potential New Deal. Seems fitting and makes a catchy phrase. So this idea was picked up by Hudson Capital Strategies. So Hudson Capital, I think maybe it's a hedge fund or an asset management firm, whatever. Now, Donald Trump is of the opinion that the main reason for the demise of the American dream is the artificially strong dollar. The dollar is strong for no reason. That's what they are saying. But now, what this will also mean is that Donald Trump is going to now force every single person that has investment in the US, if you have purchased, US treasuries, now they are going to lower the interest rate. They are going to force you to accept lower interest payments on those things because they are going to weaken their currency. So he's basically trying to, muzzle everybody. He's basically trying to do it by force. So, and one of the things you have to understand that is also causing this thing is that the United States has a very heavy bill. It operates a lot of bases outside of America. And the military spending of America is a lot. They spend a lot of money having military base everywhere. There's military base off China, off this, off that. The United States of America has a military base in almost every part of the world, not in every part of the world. And this is costing them money to maintain. So this is a very, very huge, problem. So you can see so now Donald Trump's challenge as well is that the Chinese government is supporting local industry. So it's much like the government of Nigeria. If you have a business, if you are producing, the government of Nigeria is giving you money to ensure that you produce and you sell abroad. And these governments are not usually supposed to intervene in market forces. They are supposed to allow, you to produce, allow everybody to do their thing wherever they find themselves. They should just produce and do whatever they want to do, right? That is what government wants you to do. That is the way it's supposed to be. But in China, the government is giving companies money. The government is investing in companies. The government is participating. So the Chinese market is not necessarily a free market because the government is involved. And Donald Trump does not like that. I mean, he's feeling like, if China is unfairly supporting manufacturing sector, it means we have a big problem. So it means the companies can compete, whether, they are selling or not, or they are profitable or not, they can compete, they can stay longer in business because they have the backing of the government. So what this all means is that there is a plan to deliberately weaken the dollar in a bid to strengthen the local industries in America and begin to once again secure jobs, make imports too expensive so that factories in America can once again begin to produce in America. So if you're a trader, you should be looking for ways to short the dollar. What this is going to tell you is that in the long term, we are going to have a whole lot of bullish move on the Australian dollar, on the British pound, on all of these pairs. If we just quickly head over to the chart in just a bit, you are going to see that there is a lot of room to the upside, a lot of room. For instance, in all of these places here, if you just look at the screen very quickly, all of these areas, the market could simply just bounce back, and we have a lot of room to the upside for the market to trade into. So this is the Australian dollar against the US dollar. If I quickly, head over to the New Zealand, same thing. There is a lot of room to the upside. We've traded to these lows. We have a lot of untapped highs in these areas. I always like to take the extreme. We have a lot of untapped highs in these areas. There's a very good chance that the market could once again be revisiting all of these highs, that I just put in here. So we could pull back and begin to go from here into all these zones and into all of these zones. And where does that leave us, for instance, on a pair like the USD Swiss franc? This here is just, it's not like I'm definitely going to just jump in there and sell, but there is a very good chance that we could pull back on, say, for instance, the USD Swiss franc. There's a good chance that we could pull back, somewhere into all these zones. And in all of these areas, there is a lot of room for us to run to the downside. A lot of room, a whole lot of room. This is it. A lot of room for the market to trade to the downside. So there is a plan on the fundamental side to get this to happen. And I've just, told that to you. So this was picked up by, a hedge fund strategist. So, and of course, now we have the information in the retail world. So, like this video, share and subscribe. This is what we do here. Pure content, pure, technical education, and real trading education, real stuff. So if that's what you like, if that's what you're into, subscribe, like the video, share, leave a comment, and I'll be more than happy to see you on the next one. And also, if you find us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube at Chikwado Trading, please don't be shy. We don't bite. Join the movement, all right? And join the movement. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.